so you don't even offer the business, right? You're like, oh, well, they don't want the product, they surely don't want the business. And sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes they can't afford the product, which is all the more reason to be offering them the business, right? We can't get in the habit of prejudging people and what they're capable of, what their potential is, and what they might be into. I learned that lesson really early on in my career. There was a contest. I'm all about incentives and contests and things like that. And there was a contest in my company. We were expanding, and it was like if you were the first person to recruit someone in the state that had no representatives, then your name was going to go on this plaque at the home office, right? So I'm like, I'm so getting my name on that plaque. Problem was, I lived in Seattle my whole life, so I didn't really know anybody outside of Seattle at the time. I was new to direct marketing. I didn't have, networks of people everywhere. And my husband knew someone in North Carolina. Because he lived there for a few years. He used to work on a pit crew. And the driver's wife, her name is Donna, I thought, okay, well, I'm going to get a hold of Donna and see if maybe, I know she's not going to want to do it, but maybe she'll know somebody. So I'll never forget, sitting down at my computer, I had to do some recon to get her address. I'd never met her before, I just knew who she was. And I sent her this letter, I sent her some product, and in my letter I said, I wanted to give you I'm going to send you some product, and it should be to your house in a few days, and I just want you to try it. I'd love for you to, let me know what you think, and if you like it, maybe you want to share it with some friends or whatever. And by the way, this is Messer Nilsen, you don't know me, but... And so I sent it off, and I remember writing in my planner a week later that I was going to follow up with her to see what she thought, because I knew she wasn't going to call me, right? So off I send it, and then she calls me, like, whatever, right before I was going to call her, so shortly after. And she's from Tennessee, but she lives in Charlotte, so I got the Donna little drawl, She's like, hey, girl, I just got your package, and honey, I am a spa junkie. Yeah, we'll go with that. She's a spa junkie. And she's like, do you know, and she's like, I'm just walking up my driveway right now, I'm getting a package. And I didn't know at the time the driveway is a mile long, but literally. So she's like, I'm just walking up my driveway, and do you know that Chad and I were just laying in bed last night, and he looked at me and he said, Donna, what are you going to do to make some money? She goes, girl, I haven't worked in 20 years, and I was a bud girl at my last job. You know I can't do that 3 kids later. I was like, okay. So she loves spa products, and she was looking for a job. So what I didn't, I was looking on the outside going, she never want to do this. He's a NASCAR driver, and they've got this huge home, and they're very successful, and lots of money. Why would she ever want to do this business? What I didn't know is that Chad had just lost his ride. Now he wasn't a NASCAR driver, and they had bills, and they had a big house, and he was looking to her to help supplement their income in the interim. And she ended up being our first supervisor in North Carolina, and went on with our business for a long time. She's a great friend of mine, and incidentally, we all racing her son. He's a race car driver now. He just won his first race yesterday. Anyway, I'm really proud of him. He races K&N. Anyway, so you never know who you're offering it to, who's in a rut that they need to get out of. Not always financially, but sometimes it's relationally. Sometimes they just don't have time to do anything that's important to them because they're busy working all the time. Whatever it is. So you want to make sure that you're out there offering it. And if someone says no to the bottle, you don't know why they said no. But they might still be interested in the business opportunity. And sometimes, and that's a really big tip, because I think most of us, our inclination is if we hear no on the bottle, then we think, okay, well, they're obviously not interested in this. So I'm just encouraging you to take it and ask that third question, regardless of what the answer to question number 2 is. Right there. All right. Oh, and that brings me to this. So you want to make sure that you're mastering this 2-a-day system. How many of you guys would say that you are consistently doing 2 exposures a day with your Nerium business? And I bet that when we do recognition, those are the people that are going to be up there. 2 exposures a day is tough. You got to commit to it. It's not 2 exposures one week. It's 2 exposures a day consistently. And it doesn't always have to be a new person. It might be a bottle to a new person and following up with another person. It might be a magazine out here and then a 3-way call with someone else. But you always have to be filling your pipeline with people. Because that's where, if you only have one person in your pipeline and they say no, then where are you at? You're back at 0 again, and you're frustrated. And you feel like, man, I just am no good at this. I cannot get where I need to go. I've been knocking on the door of director for 3 months. How come I can't get there? If you have 20 people in your pipeline and 10 of them say no, then what do you have? Yeah, you got 10 people that are still working. You're still working. So you want to make sure that you're consistently adding people to your pipeline. So the first thing you do is you're piquing interest. My favorite way to pique interest, hands down, is Facebook. If you're not on Facebook, you're missing out. You really are. And if you don't have a lot of friends on Facebook, start friending people. Start searching out your friends, your classmates, searching out the people that you used to work with, searching out whoever. Add some friends to your pipeline. Work with add Nerium people to your Facebook friends too, because you get good ideas from them and motivation and things like that. And like Lori said, people are looking at your posts and sometimes they never say anything. They never like it, they never comment on it, and all of a sudden you get an inbox one day and someone says, all right, tell me about this Nerium stuff. And you're like, where have you been for the last 6 months? Right? People from junior high that you didn't even realize you were Facebook friends with, they're like, okay, I want to do this business. You're like, what? That's how it happens. And here's why. You know, sometimes you might think, oh, I don't want to irritate my friends. Well, then don't irritate your friends. Right? You sprinkle in your Nerium stuff with your picture of your breakfast and the picture, whatever else that you put on there. It doesn't always have to be Nerium stuff, right? But you want to make sure that you're hitting that every couple of days so it's showing up in the newsfeed repeatedly. Here's why. Because when somebody is ready, statistically our circumstances change every 90 days. Did you guys know that? Things are going well, and then next thing you know, you lose a job, the brakes go out in the car, it's time for college, the dog gets sick, whatever. Our circumstances change every 90 days, statistically. So somebody who maybe has been ignoring your post or not really interested, their circumstances change, and up comes your business opportunity. Or up comes a picture of you holding your iPad, or you in front of your new Lexus. Okay? And what happens is, when the circumstances change for people, and they want to get involved in this business, they want to partner with people who are serious. They want to partner with people that they know are doing an active business. And by posting on Facebook, you are showing that your nose is in your business. They're not going to partner with their friend that they know that sells it, but they never see anything about it on Facebook. They never see them talking about a meeting. They don't have their Lexus or whatever. They want to work with people who are doing it because they want to follow someone that knows how to get it done, right? And so that needs to be you. You want to be the first person they think of when they're ready to join. Because as we grow, they're going to know multiple people that are selling Nerium. So why are they going to choose you? Because you're the one that's all over Facebook, or the one that's inviting them, or the one that's dripping on them, or whatever. So Facebook posts can be really simple, and the best one that I recommend using when you're new is just, hey, I'm really excited to be partnering with Nerium International. It's a one-step anti-aging treatment that everyone is talking about. Please message me if you want a free sample, and then put up a before and after photo. And then that's it. Now, you might not get anybody that responds to it. Okay. Then a couple days later, you're going to put up a different before and after photo. I'm working on my wait list of people who want to try this product. Get on my wait list now. Another before and after photo. Maybe the first one was wrinkles, the next one is, hyperpigmentation, or maybe it's a firm. I'm so excited to be going to my first Nerium training meeting. I can't believe the support I'm getting. Everyone's rooting for my success. A before and after photo. Or a Nerium, Nerium first. Those little Nerium things with, talk about the company growth, or picture of the bottle, and, that kind of stuff. Put those out every couple of days. And when you're new, maybe even more. But don't ever take the foot off the gas with that. Okay? Then, I also have, there's a little system, it's called 21-5. And that means that you're going to expose 5 people a day for 21 days in a row via Facebook. And that's private messaging. And you're just going to copy and paste the same message to 5 new people every day for 21 days. And if you do that, you will fill your pipeline with leads. So if you're stuck right now and you think, I don't have anybody, I've exhausted everybody, no, you haven't. 21-5. And that Facebook message is a private Facebook message, and it says something like, hey, I don't know if you know or not, but I've recently joined Nerium International. I'm super excited about it, and you're on my mind. I thought of you. I have no reason to believe you're looking for something new. But if you're even open, if you're even 1% open to checking this out, I think that you'll be glad you did. If I were to send you a quick video to watch that explains a little bit about what's going on with Nerium, would you watch it and let me know your thoughts? Some people aren't going to respond at all. Some people will respond, sure, I'll watch it. And some people will respond, no, thank you. And some people will say, yes, I can't believe you just sent me this. Like, I'm looking for something. It doesn't matter. You don't really care what your job is to expose. You're not attached to the outcome, right? Whatever they say is their business. Your job is to expose. So don't get caught up in what they're going to say. Don't prejudge the whole deal. 5 people a day for 21 days, copy and paste the exact same message. Short and sweet, and all you're trying to do is get them open to accepting the information. You don't have to say anything else about it. Let the video do the work for you. Or let the magazine or whatever you're giving them do the work for you. You're getting them to accept the information. You guys see the difference? You're not trying to sell them on it. You're not asking for a credit card. You're not trying to get them to come to a meeting. You just want them to be open to see the video, and they'll either like the video or they won't, and you're going to go from there. So the third-party tools are your best bet. You know, we make a joke. Have you guys seen the new tape that tells you how to sell Nerium? No, it's called duct tape. In other words, don't say too much. Oh, I'm sorry. That's me. I'm trying to stay with the light. Maybe over here? Better? So you want to make sure that you're not saying too much, that you're letting the tools do all of that for you. Then you're going to set a follow-up. Okay, so I'm going to pick up that bottle from you on Saturday at 1. We're going to chat for a minute. I'm going to take your after picture. I want to see your before and after pictures, and we'll see where we're at. So make sure that you set up a time to follow up with them after they've watched the video or after they've tried the product or whatever it is. And then we lead into our 3-way call. And I'm sure that there's a slide about the 3-way call. There probably is. I'm going to talk about that in a second. And then you're going to hopefully sponsor them or get them out of your funnel. It doesn't matter. Either they're going to join or they're not going to join. But either way, you're moving forward, right? Okay, so let's talk about that. First of all, make sure you label your tubes. How many of you guys are using the magazine? Good. Oh, good. Magazines are amazing. I was not a big believer in the magazines at first. I thought, but until I actually read it, and I was like, I want to sell this stuff. I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, it's got a really good balance of the product knowledge, the biotech knowledge, some success stories, where Nerium's going, the whole thing. Just make sure that you label them so that people can see them. And then leave them wherever you're at. How many of you guys, every time you go to the doctor, you should be dropping out? Nobody wants to read highlights. Right? Or Cosmo from like 2011. Yeah. So make sure you're leaving your Nerium magazine there. Every time you go on an airplane, leave it in the back seat. Every time you go anywhere, leave a magazine. How many times have you, well, maybe this doesn't happen all the time, but you're going to the bank, and the teller's like, how's your day? Oh my gosh, 45 minutes, and I finally get out of this hell hole, You're like, oh, well, here's a magazine that you might want to try. Check it out for your next 45 minutes, But make sure that you're getting in the habit of dispersing those. Maybe you make it a personal goal that every day you're going to drop 2 of them off. You don't even care where. You might just go throw it in the neighbor's porch and run. But you got it out. You never know where those are going to come from. You never know who's going to pick that up at the dentist's office or who's going to pick that up at the doctor's office. Right? It's got a DVD in it for crying out loud. You could be getting some brand partners. There's some interest here. Make sure that you not only label the magazine, but also put a label on your DVD, because sometimes the DVD detaches from the magazine, okay? And you can use your lead. How many of you guys utilize the lead capture page? Okay. I'm a little iffy on the lead capture page, I gotta be honest. What I like about it is that you know when someone goes to your website and you know that, somebody who has interest. What I don't like about it is if I had to go to a website and I had to fill out some information, I would just bag it. I wouldn't do it. So I'm kind of torn, and we'll talk about it. I'm sure there's a slide about it. I'm sure there's a slide about it. But make sure that you're labeling your tools. No, here we go. So what that is it's your username.arealbreakthrough.com or the neriumbook.com. One is about the business, and one is about the product. Okay? And one thing that I learned at conference, and some of you guys might too, is you can make it a little icon on your iPhone. You guys done that? Yeah. So then, let's say you're in line at Starbucks and you get to chatting with someone and you're going to send them a video. You can literally push the little icon on your iPhone and type in their email right there, and it sends them to the little link to your sizzle right there on your phone. So you don't have to remember to do it later. And you can say, hey, really quick, what's your email? Pop it in here. I'm going to send you a 2-minute video. If you like the 2-minute video, you can click and watch the full version. And it's done. You get points for that, you got exposures for that, and it took you 2 seconds, and it's right there on your phone. So if you don't have that already, all you have to do is pull up that website and then click save it as a what? Homepage. Save it as homepage. It'll be just a little icon, just like your Facebook or whatever on your phone. So I encourage you to do that. So basically what it will do is it'll give them a 2-minute little sizzle about the product or the company. And if they like what they see, then they click on the link right there and they can watch the full 15-minute presentation. And you're going to get an email that says this person just watched it. So you know when someone clicked on it and when they watched it. Okay? So let's just say that you're out there doing your 2-a-day and you've got 5 people on your team that are also doing their 2-a-day. You can see how quickly that adds up. You only have so many magazines and you only travel so far. Your reach only extends so far. But as you build your organization and they're all duplicating what you're doing, then you're getting the advantages of having, 1,200 exposures a month. If you have 1,200 exposures a month, how many people are going to say yes?
120.
Some. Right? A lot more than if you don't have those exposures, I'll tell you that. It doesn't matter. Some of them are, and you don't know which ones. You have no idea. So the trick for you, what you're in control of, is the behavior. My biggest tip in this business, and I say it all the time, and I got it from David Bird, is that you cannot manage outcome. You can only manage behavior. Think about that. You have zero control over the outcome. You have all the control over your behavior. So it doesn't matter who signs up, who actually clicks on your capture page, who buys a bottle, who fast start qualifies. What matters is what you do, that you're consistently engaged in the system that works. That's 15,000 exposures a year, you guys. Magazines, videos, bottles, the whole gamut. All right. So the AutoShip, how many of you guys are on the AutoShip? A few of you? Okay. The AutoShip program is designed because Jeff in the home office knows how powerful these magazines are. Do you guys get it? That other companies don't have these magazines. This is unique to us. To be able to have an industry magazine that's highly respected, devote their entire issue to your product is huge. That gives you a lot of credibility, right? So, for you to be able to pop those magazines out takes all of the pressure off of you and puts all of the selling on the tool. You don't have to say anything. You just have to get the magazine in their hands. And I love Lori's tip about highlighting a couple of things, like put a little, earmark the page that you think will be most interesting to them, right? And with our magazine AutoShip program, it's super simple. You commit to the getting on the program, and after 12 months, Nerium's going to guarantee that you've made at least $5,000 in commission. And if you haven't, they're going to reimburse you for the magazine and pay you that. Pretty simple. That means they really believe it. Do you know that Nerium loses money on these magazines? This isn't a moneymaker for them. This is for you, because they know that if you use these tools, you will build your business, period. There's no way around it. If you're not using these magazines, you're missing out. There's a lot of places that you could be dropping magazines. A lot of people that would read a magazine that won't watch a DVD. I don't even have a DVD player. Do they make those anymore? Seriously, do they? Do they? No, I don't have one. I bought this, I was up one night in the middle of the night, and it was like 3 a.m. and I happened to be watching hip-hop apps. And the guy was like, hey, come on, get off the couch, get out of bed. And I was like, okay. So I'm like trying to do it with him. And I'm like, yeah, I can feel the bird, okay. So I'm getting out my phone and I'm ordering my hip-hop apps, and it comes, and I don't even have a DVD player. So I'm still in package. And my son's like, how's that hip-hop apps? And Mom, I'm like, what? Okay. Then we also have our blitz calls. This is another thing that you can take advantage of. Blitz calls are great because they're available every hour, on the hour, every Wednesday. We make a big deal about it. You should be posting something about it on Facebook. And then we also have our real lifeline that has a 24/7 feed of different calls that you can use too. But make sure you're taking advantage of these because your friends, you know what, they're thinking, okay, you want to recruit me because you need your iPad, I get it. Or you need to recruit me because you want to make money off of everything that I do, I get it. But when they can listen to somebody else tell their story, somebody else validate everything that you're saying, it gives them a little bit more credibility, right? Same with the three-way call, which we'll talk about in a second. So make sure that you have these lines programmed into your phone. Just program it in, a real life line, or Nerium blitz calls, or whatever, so you never have to wonder what the call is. If you've texted the word reels at 59769, you're going to get a message every Wednesday that says it's, blitz call day. And you can just copy and paste that to text to your friends that you want to get on it. Make sure you're using this to your advantage. Make it a goal. If you're new and you're building your business, you've got to set some goals. And make it a goal every single week. I'm going to get 10 people on a blitz call. Or every single week, I'm going to invite 10 people to a blitz call and hope that 3 of them actually get on it. I don't care what you do, but if you don't have goals and make it an intention, it's not going to happen. If you just throw it up on Facebook, you're not going to have 10 people get on it. But if you make it your intention, and you have like a little game with yourself, and you're competing with yourself, and it's Wednesday, I got to get my people lined up to get on these calls. They're going to work for you, but it only works if you work it. Right? So you got to make sure you're playing. Now, three-way call. My favorite. I'm all about a three-way. I like the three-way calls because they're effective. But there's a right way and a wrong way to do it three-way. I've had brand partners call me and say, hey, hold on. I literally answer the phone. Hey, it's Sarah. Hey, hold on a second. And then they put me on a three-way. And I hear, hey, my friend Sarah just dialed in. Crazy. I was just talking to you about Nerium. I want to introduce you to my friend Sarah. And I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. I didn't call you. You just called me. And I didn't even know we were on a three-way. Right? So three-ways, you have to set them up correctly in the first place for them to be effective for you, for the upline, and for the person that you're trying to recruit. Okay, so what they're for, first of all, is to hear a story. Sometimes they don't have questions, they just want to hear a story. Maybe that particular upline's going to resonate with that person, like Lori mentioned. Maybe it's a construction worker and you're talking to Dan Gadsby. Maybe it's somebody that's a stay-at-home mom and you're talking to someone like Dana who has 6 kids and makes this business work for her. Maybe it's somebody who has direct marketing background and you're going to call someone that has direct marketing background. So what I would do is, if I'm looking for a three-way, is I have a few people in my phone that I call and I'm going to text them all at once. I might text 3 or 4 of my upline and say, hey, who's available for a three-way? And then one of them will get back to you quickly. But if you only text 1 and they don't get back to you, then you text 2, and then just text them all at the same time. Hey, I need a three-way. Anybody available? What I like to hear from my team is, I need a three-way sometime around noon. This is a prospect I've been working with. She came to the meeting. She's tried the product. She has questions. Or this is a prospect I'm working with that he watched the video and he has questions about the comp plan. So that I know what the scoop is. Okay? It's third-party validation. It answers questions. It's a great way to sign up your prospects. Also, doing three-way calls for welcome calls. When you sign somebody up, introduce them to your upline. Hey, make a quick call. It takes just a couple minutes. Like, hey, I just want to introduce you to Sarah. She's part of our upline support team. She's somebody that you can call with questions or three-ways. Make sure you pop her number into your phone. She's a kick in the pants, and she's available. The best way to get hold of Sarah is to text her. Just a quick introduction, like, hey, it's great to meet you. Thanks for popping on. Are you super excited? What's your first goal? When's your launch party set up for? Do you have any questions I can answer for you? Just a quick call. It can be pretty informal, welcome call. But it's duplicatable. Because what it does is it teaches the person who's on, the prospect that's on the phone, that, wow, there's some support here. Like, I don't have to know all the answers. There's people that will help me work my leads. This is pretty cool. So maybe I can do this. Duplicate. So here's what we need. You have to verify the third-party tool. Don't ever do a three-way if your prospect hasn't been exposed to a third-party tool. There is no point. Because the job of the expert isn't to lay out the entire Nerium program. The job of the expert is to tell a story or answer questions. And if they haven't been exposed to a tool, they don't even know what their questions are. So not only, I sent them the video, but verify that they watched it. Not only did you give them the magazine, but verify that they read it. Or they came to a meeting, or they got on a blitz call, or whatever, and they have questions. They have questions about the comp plan. They have questions about how the product works. They want to know more about Jeff Olson. They want to hear your story. Okay, you want to make sure that you're putting in good use for everybody's time. So when you're following up with your person, verify, hey, did you watch that video I gave you? What did you like best about it? Oh yeah, I thought it was really interesting. I see you guys get Lexus. That'd be pretty cool. My car's about to die. Oh, awesome. Yeah, hey, listen. That Lexus program is pretty cool. I could pop my friend Sarah on the phone with us really quick. She's somebody who earned her Lexus pretty quickly, and she could explain to you how you could too. Do you have a minute? Or let me see if I can grab Sarah for a minute. I want you to hear her story. She was really excited about Lexus when she first started too. Just a really quick transition. But you've already sent out the text to the expert before you did the follow-up to say, hey, are you going to be available for a three-way, right? Okay. And then you validate the expert. You have to make sure that you validate the person that you're calling because, number one, your friend doesn't know this person, and they're probably like, why do I need to talk to Sarah? Like, can't you just tell me about the Lexus? What's going on? And I like the way that Lori does it. Hey, I'm probably going to forget to tell you something, so I want Sarah to explain it to you. She's been doing this a little bit longer and having great success. Or, I'm new with this, and I don't really know the answer to that question, and I want to make sure that you get accurate info, so let me grab my friend Sarah to answer that question for both of us. You don't want it to be intimidated. You're never going to say, hey, I'm going to call up my friend Sarah, she's the closer. Yeah, you're never going to get away from that. Yeah, get your credit card out, baby, because Sarah's getting on the phone. No. You don't want him to feel like that's what it's about. It's more about getting them the information and having one more person validate what you're saying, right? So you want to just make sure that it's very casual so that your friend isn't intimidated by that. Then you're going to make sure you connect with your expert. While the person is on hold, you never call the expert first. Always call your prospect first, get them on hold, then call your expert. And then when your expert is on the phone with you, you're going to briefly remind them who they're talking to. Even if you've told them 3 times, and I'm so guilty of this, I get 3-page text about this prospect. Here's what's going on with her. Here's her life story. And to be honest with you, by the time our 3-way comes around, I don't remember who it is because I've got 10 other 3-ways I'm working with too. So you want to make sure that you say, okay, remember this is the gal. She's a school teacher. She watched the video. She's super excited. She's a little bit struggling with coming up with 550K. I think, okay, I got it. Okay, so just remind them who you're talking to. Then you connect the two, connect the call, so you're all 3 on together. And you're going to do an introduction. Mary, are you there? Yeah, I'm here. Sarah, are you there? Yeah, I'm here. Okay, great. Mary, this is Sarah, my friend I was telling you about. I'm really glad she's given us a couple of minutes. I know she's busy, but I wanted her to be able to explain to you how the Lexus program works. Sarah, this is Mary. I briefly mentioned to you that she's a school teacher, and she's really taken a hard look at this business, had some questions. Great. And then you mute yourself out. You have to mute yourself out. If you start talking, you're going to undo everything your expert just did. If you start talking, then your friends will go, well, if you know all the answers, why is she on the phone? And it's not that you don't know the answers, guys. It's just you're following the system and you're modeling the system, right? So while the expert's talking, you're muted out. When the expert is done, you unmute, you thank the expert for his or her time, you thank the prospect for your time, and you hang up the phone. You don't say, hang on, Mary, we're going to say goodbye to Sarah, and I'm going to talk to you and try to convince you to sign up now, or undo everything, or oversell it, or whatever we do. Hang up the phone. Even if you end up calling them back later, or they end up calling you back later, when that 3-way is over, hang up the phone. That's it. That's how you do the 3-ways. If you're not doing 3-ways, you're doing a disservice, not only to yourself, but also to modeling the behavior that you want your team to embrace. Do you really want your new people recruiting their new people all on their own? No, you want them to have help, don't you? I mean, you want them to follow the system. And they build, by listening to the way that you speak to their prospects, they're learning. They're learning how they're going to do their calls when they're doing 3-ways. And, ideally, you want to be a senior director level or above to be doing a 3-way call. And that's kind of the system, because earning a Lexus is a big deal. And prospects want to talk to someone who earned their Lexus. Sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes you don't have that. I know for yuppers especially, sometimes you need a yupper and you don't have a senior director yupper yet, and so we use a director or something like that. But ideally, you want to be a senior director, and then after you get senior director, then you start doing 3-ways for your team. But like myself, I'm a NMD, but I'm still using my upline for 3-ways. And it's not because I don't know the answers, it's because I'm following the system. You don't ever stop doing 3-ways when you hit senior director, but you can start, being expert on 3-ways when you hit senior director. Does that make sense? It's really, really important. Like, I want to spend an hour here because it's so important to do these three-way calls. And then live events. This is where the magic happens, right? I mean, Lori Dillon's a really good example of someone who wasn't completely engaged when she first started, right? She's told, she's been honest about that. But when she got to an event, she got it. The light bulbs went off. She realized how big this opportunity was. It happens all the time. I always tell people, get them to an event, get them to an event. If you've got people in your organization that aren't doing anything, get them to an event. Get them to an event. Just get them to an event. Because I know that if you sit in one of these events, at least at some point you're going to go, oh yeah, I should be doing that. Or, oh yeah, I see all these people around me that are having success. Why not me? Like, or, oh yeah, I've been a little bit disengaged lately. I need to get back into it. Okay? So the way that they work is we have our market parties, right? Like we had last night at Bass Pro. You guys have weekly. I'm sure there's lots of them going on around here. We have your market party, which is a smaller venue, and it's typically the PowerPoint. You have an expert that comes and does the PowerPoint, answers questions, and then people leave. Okay? Most of the time, people don't really sign up at a market party. Typically, they have to go home and think about it. They have to talk to their spouse. They have to move some money around. They have to talk to someone else or whatever. But it's where they get their information, and they realize they can look around the room and see all of the people that are actually doing this. They look pretty normal, right? We're not doing any weird chanting, you know? You don't have to give blood when you come in. It's like, oh, okay, these guys look pretty normal. There's all different backgrounds, from corporate to stay-at-home moms, doctors, the whole thing. And then people go, okay, I can do this. All these people are getting Lexuses, and all these people are getting iPads, and all these people, okay, I can do this. You don't get that on the phone or on a video or whatever. You get that from like being immersed in the people, right? Then you come to a regional like this. The regional is where you learn how to do the how-tos. The regional is the training for breaking down these 8 points and really like diving into how do I do a three-way call? How do I get the magazines out? How do I prospect the spot? Okay? And then you go to your conferences. And the conferences is all this huge, the beauty of conference is being in a room with 10,000 people who all believe the same thing you do. And all believe in you. And all believe in Nerium as a company. Because when we step out of that, and we're in our own neighborhoods, our schools, our jobs, we get all of that, those people that are saying this is no good, right? You got something to a pyramid scheme. You know, you'll never work. The bubble's going to burst. The stuff is poisonous. All of the things that we hear. And we can get a little bit discouraged by that. But if you're immersed, if you get to go get filled up in a room where there's 10,000 people who get it, it's really energizing. Plus, you get all the news, and you get to hear from Jeff and see all the names that you see all the people that you see in the videos, you know, asking their tips or whatever. You get to be involved in all that. So make sure that you get to the Get Real conference, and we'll talk about when the next one is here in a second. If you're not going to these events, you're missing out. Even if it's your weekly market party, sometimes you need the meeting and sometimes the meeting needs you, right? You're going to have a different speaker. You're going to hear that one little tweak that makes you go, oh, this all makes sense to me. Or that one little nugget that you think, oh, I can embrace that and change the trajectory of my business. If you're not showing up to those meetings consistently, you are missing out. Regional, same thing. I get it. You guys have heard this information, I don't know how many times, right? I've said this information a lot of times. Like, I want to chew glass myself sometimes, I get it. But coming to a regional, and that speaker might say something in a way that resonates with you differently than the last 5 speakers, right? Or you might be ready to hear it differently. Maybe you're at a different place in your business than you were in the last regional. And if you're not showing up, you're not getting to take advantage of that. All right. When we have a fast start game plan, it's really important. When you are training a new brand partner, you need to make sure that you're engaged with them right away. Because from the time that they sign that agreement and the time they get their kit, their life will be completely different. It could be 48 hours later, and they are looking at things a lot differently than they were when they signed up. Maybe they signed up at a market party, and they were super excited. They heard a great speaker. They felt the energy. They were so excited. They're like, yeah, let's do this. They got their credit card out. Woohoo! They're all excited. On the way home, they're calling their best friend, who they know is going to be their business partner, their first person. And they're like on the phone. They're like, hey, girl, I'm so excited. I just joined this company. You got to do it with me, man. We're going to get rich. We're going to be driving around hers and hers Lexuses. I mean, we got this down. We're going to be going to Cancun. Like, let's, give me your credit card. And the friend's like, no. And they're like, really? Oh, I thought for sure she was going to deal with me. Dang. And then they go home, and they talk to their husband or wife. They're like, oh my God, guess what I just did? I just changed our lives. We're going to be going, I hope you want a condo in Maui, because that's where we're going. You're like so excited. Oh my gosh, have you heard of Jeff Olson? Let's Google him right now. Like, check him out, And then you're all talking about how great Nerium is. This stuff works. Wait till you see this wrinkle. It's going to be gone by tomorrow. You're all excited. And then your husband or wife looks at you and is like, I cannot believe you just did that. There is no way we're going to go through this again. Now you're, right? So by the time your fast start game plan comes around, 48 hours later, you are not the same person you were when you signed that agreement. You're already starting to doubt whether or not you should be doing this. You got a little bit of buyer's remorse. You start thinking, shoot, this is not as simple as they said it was going to be. And then your recruiter, who was just with you 2 days ago when you were like on fire and so excited, is still excited for you. You're like, okay, let's do this. Let's call your friends. Your husband's going to be so happy. You're like, yeah, I felt that. Not so much. And yeah, my friends, not so much. As a matter of fact, I don't know if I really have the money to do this, and I'm feeling like maybe I should send my kit back, or cancel it. And you're like, what? What happened? So, when you do the Fast Start game plan, you need to reconvene about why they're doing this business. And the question that you ask them is, what's important to you in your life right now? What's important to you in your life right now? What keeps you up at night? And you're going to find out a lot about a person by asking that question. Well, what keeps me up at night is I've got a kid that's graduating high school next year, and I got to figure out a way to pay for college. She's got high hopes of going to the Fashion Institute of California, and that is not in the budget. Or what keeps me up at night is my husband snoring. I'd like to get rid of him or something. Oops. Anyway, so what's important to you in your life right now? The second question that you follow up with is, how do you see Nerium supporting that? How does Nerium fit into that? Because what you're going to do is get them to correlate where they want to go and how Nerium can help get them there. And then the third question, and just as important to ask them in the Fast Start game plan, is this: how do you want me to support you when you get discouraged? How do you want me to show up for you when it's not the gravy train and things are going, south on you? Because they will. Disappointment is right around the corner, right? Once you go start talking to your friends and family, you're going to get discouraged. How do you want me to support you in that? It's important to know that, because some people are going to say, you just need to kick me in the butt. You need to say, pull your big girl pants on and get out there and go again. Or you might say, you need to take me to lunch and let me cry on your shoulder. Or they might say, you know what, I need you to call me out. I need you to remind me why I'm doing this. Or they might say, you need to leave me alone. But it's important for you to know how they want you to respond to them when times get tough. So that, fast forward a few weeks, and they're all bummed out because, their brand partner that signed up, never showed up to the meeting and hasn't done anything since, or whatever, and you can go, okay, remember when we talked about disappointment, you told me that you wanted me to kick you in the butt. Here I am, kicking you in the butt. Stop it. Stop it. Go out and talk to somebody else. Come on. And if you don't know how to support them, then you might not be able to keep moving them forward that way, okay? The other thing you're going to do is help them figure out their lead list. Just like what Lori said, let's get your list of 100. Don't tell me you don't know 100 people. Yes, you do. Who's on your Christmas card list? Who would you invite to your wedding? Who would show up at your funeral? Hopefully it's different people. Who are your Facebook friends with? Who do you work with? Give them that little bit of a memory jogger and kind of help them make that list of 100. It's way better to sit there with them and have them write it out than to say, hey, make a list of 100 people and call them. Like, work with them a little bit on it, right? And then you do that 10 and play call. That is how I started my business, you guys, with the 10 and play call. When I left that meeting with Dana and Anna and Rick, I got on the phone and I called 12 of my friends who I thought would understand the entrepreneurial side of all this. Not 12 people that I thought would want to try the product for, 60 days and it worked for them maybe. But 12 people I thought, okay, they have experience, or they're good in business, or they're realtors, or they're people that I respected on a level that I thought they'd want to play. And I asked them to give me an hour. I just called them and said, listen, I don't have any idea what you got going on right now. I don't know if you're looking for something new or what, but dude, I think I just found the last run, and I really want you to come with me on this ride. May or may not be for you, I don't know, but give me 1 hour. Just give me 1 hour on the phone with my friend Anna, and I want you to hear what I heard. If you're into it, cool. If you're not, that's cool, but I'm giving you first right of refusal as I build my organization. So, out of mutual respect, them respecting me and me respecting them, they got on the call, and 7 of them joined up on the same day that I did. 7 out of 12. Not because of anything I did, it's because we have an awesome opportunity, and Anna Woodward was able to articulate that to them. They got it. So, tenant play calls are important. If you're not doing that, I encourage you to do that. We also have one recorded that you can, if someone just can't coordinate schedules, then we have one recorded that you can listen to, dial it up. It's open, it's available all the time. You also are going to book your launch. Don't let your new prospect out of that Fresh Start game plan without booking your launch. And I have people all the time say, oh, I don't need a launch. I'm good. No, I'm not going to launch. It never fails. If you don't launch, you're setting yourself behind the 8 ball, because what a launch does is it just gives you that little bit of momentum. Now, is everybody that shows up at the launch going to sign up? No. But it's much more powerful for them to hear the video and listen to the expert than it is for you to call them and spew all the reasons why you're so excited about hearing. Right? It's much more powerful for them to hear the presentation. And I guarantee that people that come to a launch leave there at least considering it. At least thinking, I see how this could work. Now, they don't all sign up, but if they don't come to the launch, it might not ever get on their radar. So what a launch is, I don't care if there's 3 people there or 30 people there, do the launch. It's part of the system. It's part of being duplicated. It's part of how we start. If you don't do a launch, or you don't think it's important, then how important is it going to be for your people? It's not. And then you have a group of people who don't launch, who don't fast or qualify, who don't move through the company, and then a year later, they're gone. So like I said at the beginning, don't pick parts of the system that you like, embrace the whole system, and that starts with the launch. So make sure you book that. And don't book it for 3 weeks out. Book it, you don't have to have your kit to launch, do you? Book it ASAP. Whoever can come will come. Don't worry about making it the perfect day. Don't worry about doing it when my friend comes in from New Jersey because she's going to be like blowing up on the East Coast. No. Book your launch. Whoever's supposed to be there will be there. That doesn't mean that's the last time you expose anybody. That's your starting point. That's where you're going to springboard. The longer you wait, the less time you have to fast start qualify, right? So do it right away. I'm talking about within the first 72 hours. Book that launch to get it going. And then you're going to also be working, like Lori mentioned, with who you're going to get your bottles to, so that you know when your kit comes who they're going to. You've already planned it out. You've got your map out of the city. You know where you're dropping bottles out that. You're good to go. And you're going to talk about the 8-point system. Talk about engage the activities that they're going to need to do as they're building a business, and connect them into the rhythm, which would be the calls and things like that. Okay? This fast start game plan should be no more than 30 minutes. It can be done over the phone. It can be done in person. It can be done at Starbucks. Just make sure you get it done right when that person signs up. Okay? And then, how many of you guys are, what's the scoop for Nerium universities here in your area? You do them? You guys get together? Do party, pizza, wine, whatever? Okay, good. It's another thing that if you don't do it on the night that it's scheduled, it's sometimes hard to catch up to it, so I really encourage you to do it. And make it a community thing. I don't care if it's just you and one person sitting in front of your computer with a slab of pizza. Do it. The first meeting that we had, we all fit into a booth at Denny's. Okay? Eggs over my hand for everyone, right? On me. You want to make sure that you create it so that people can count on it. What you don't want to do is do Nerium sometimes. Do a market party sometimes. You want to make sure that you have it consistently so people can learn to count on it. They don't always come in the beginning. It takes a little while to build into that. But if you start and stop, then people are going to be confused and they're not going to do it. So make sure that if you're doing a Nerium, if you commit to doing that you do it every single Monday, rain or shine, doesn't matter who comes. If it's just you, then it's just you. But I encourage you to continue continue doing it even if it's just you versus starting and stopping. Nobody can come, we're not going to do it. It's summer. No, keep doing it. And in your real results parties, all you really need is your DVD, or you can pull it up on the PowerPoint. It's super simple. You know, your expert comes, you introduce the expert, tell the story, put in the DVD, answer questions. Right? It's so, especially for people, anybody in here ever do party plan? I mean, come on, just how much easier is it? I'm used to like lugging all my stuff in, you know, making all these baskets, making everything pretty, and foot soaps, and letting you massage your hand for 20 minutes while you tell me your life story. And then I'm just so defeated, I'm gonna like talk in this flowery language. Imagine if you were a spa, and the aromas, and then I've got to like, and I kind of eagerly hand out order forms, just hoping that you didn't forget your checkbook, and I heard ready to order some stuff, and then I got to pack it all up and carry it all out to my car, and I'm getting muddy, the dogs are jumping on me, I'm like, I hate my job, and then I get home, I've got to unpack it all, I've got to wash it, I've got to reset it all up, I get my receipts, and I made like $7. And I'm like, really? Second guessing my whole life. This is so much different. It's so much simpler. We walk into our RRP with our iPad or with a DVD and our keys. We walk in, we do our presentation, we get to meet great people, and then we leave. Our job isn't to sit there and convince people to sign up. Our job is to expose the information. So much simpler. And it's interesting to me how many people don't make this a habit of their business. What about you? When was the last time you hosted an RRP? I know you have friends that haven't been exposed. I know you have friends that haven't been to one. When was the last time you hosted one? Did you host one when you started, and that was that? You know, when I started, I had 4 launches, because the first one was all my upline and me. It was a little embarrassing. They all came over from Seattle, and, you know, I'm like, hey, I've got all this food, you know, Costco, but, you know, got to have enough food, move everything out of the way, so there's enough room for all the seats we're going to need to fill. And there was like 4 of them there, and the time came and went, and nobody came. And I mean, I was a little embarrassed, to be honest, because they had some high hopes for me. I had some industry experience. They were kind of excited that I came aboard, and, you know, expected that I might actually have a launch that was successful. No. I didn't even know what it was supposed to look like, but I was like, I'm pretty sure there's supposed to be people here. So I booked another one, only this time they didn't all come, just one of them came. I'm like, I'll send data. We're going to send this one out, Sarah, it's no big deal. And I had 2 people come that were guests, and then 2 people over there that were already partners that came, and their guests didn't show up, so we had 2 guests. Still not exactly the thing that I was hoping for, right? So I had to have a 3rd one. This one was at my house because I was tired of, you know, getting a spot and getting food, and I was like, screw it, you guys can have water if you show up. And there will be no Costco cake. And I actually had a couple of brand partners joining. We had a few guests there, and Rick Frisk came to do that one. But I had the first people that signed up at the very beginning, the day that I signed up, and then after that, like, nobody was signing up. And I was starting to feel a little bit like, you know, what am I doing wrong? Or I've got to ramp up my income here. Like, what's happening? I was so used to Party Plan, where people would come and they would buy what they were going to buy, and then that was it. It was a total paradigm shift of how this works, that people come for the exposure, and then they think about it. And what I needed to do, the step that I was missing, was follow-up. After the RRP, what did you think about it? What did you like about what you saw last night? I wasn't used to that. Because in Party Plan, if they don't buy the mango lotion the night that you're there, they're not buying the mango lotion. Right? So I was different for me. So if you're in Party Plan or you're new, this is kind of a paradigm shift. People typically need to think about it for a minute or be exposed a few more times. So after you do your RRPs, you've got to make sure that you're connecting with every single person that showed up the next day. And it's just quickly like, hey, thanks for coming last night. What was your overall impression of what you heard? And are you ready to give this a 30-day run? Are you ready to go on the product for at least a month, knowing you can get your money back if you don't love your results? And are you at all open to more information about the business side of things? It's the same 3 questions. If you don't connect with those people, they might be thinking about it in their head, but it's going to wane. If you don't put it back in the forefront of their mind and get them engaged in it again, right? So make sure when you're doing your launches and your people are doing their launches that you teach them to follow up with every single person that showed up the next day. Okay. I'm pretty sure I just said that. And for your free parties, this is something that I need to get better at myself, and I don't know how you're doing it in Kansas, but I hardly ever do 3 year free parties, and I need to do it because they can be really good. And what a 3 year free party is, just simply maybe you have a customer and they're not getting their product for free yet. They should be getting their product for free, so you're going to offer them an opportunity. Hey, listen, you want to grab a few girlfriends over and let me kind of show them why Nerium is so great, and then maybe they're going to want to join as one of your customers so you can get your product for free. Does that interest you at all? Sure, I like free, right? And then the people that they're going to invite, you know and I know that probably at least someone in the room is actually going to be interested in business. The friends might not think so or know so, that you know. So you want to make sure that you're doing those 3 year free parties, because that's going to get you new leads that you otherwise wouldn't have. Same with yourself. How many of you guys host 3 year free parties? How many of you guys are like, hey, I've got some customers that aren't getting their product for free. I'd like to help them out, so I'm going to host a 3 year free party. I'm going to get myself some leads, and I'm going to get some new customers. It's quick. It's easy. You don't even have to vacuum, really. Put them on the kitchen. Okay? All right, so here's the way it looks. You're looking to get at least 40 points a week, which is 8 points a day, by reading your emails, listening to the calls and webinars, your personal development, and then doing your 2-day prospecting and doing your follow-ups in 3 ways, and you're going to get your points weekly for that. So if you don't have a good balance of all of those things as you're adding up your points, then I would consider tweaking that so that you do. All your points don't come from reading emails and getting on webinars. You've got to get out there and get the products out. You've got to get out there to your live events. You got to start using those 3 ways, getting your points for the day. Does that make sense? You can gauge it. You can track it with a friend. You can be like, all right, I got my points. Did you get your points? Yeah, I got my points. You can send it to your upline. We have an app that you can track it. There's no excuse not to be organized with your points. But you can only, you have to measure it to know where you're going, right? It's the same thing with your business. How do you know how many people in your team are fast start qualifying? You got to measure it. How do you know how many people are coming on board? And if you're growing, you got to measure it. You can't just look at your volume, because volume is a lagging indicator. Volume is, like David Burr says, like looking at the scoreboard at the end of the game. You got to be managing what's going on in the field. And that means how many people are joining my organization and how many of them are fast start qualifying. That's the only 2 things that matter. Everything else revolves around that. The whole comp plan, the whole program, the whole 8 points revolves around how many new people do I have coming on board and how many of them are fast start qualifying. And the only way for you to improve on that is to be able to track it, to gauge it. Like if you don't know how much you weigh and you get on the scale, how do you know how much you lost? If you don't know what your baseline bench press is and you've been working out for 2 months, then how do you know how much you've improved? Right? So you have to make sure that everything that you're doing is gauged around how am I getting new people into my business and how am I helping them fast start qualifying. So I'm going to ask Lori to come back up and do some recognition. I'm excited to see all your faces that are working.